What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here with another video, and today we are doing a mock the mock on the Goat House's mock for the first time. And I asked him for permission, of course, to do this. So hopefully, I believe he will be watching this. So, Goat House, thank you for actually letting me do this, and I'm gonna give you some honest feedback. Watched you for a very long time, and I do appreciate the actual work that you put into your graphics and stuff. And obviously, you, along with Marcus Whitman, who we are going to be doing a mock the mock on when he releases every single one of his 3 round mocks, uh, you guys were the ones who made me want to begin doing this. So you and that franchise guy have been kind of my origin story. So we're going to be doing this, and then maybe sometime far in the future we can get a collab going. But we're here to do mock the mock, and let's get into this because I know that we just did the like celebrity YouTuber slash analyst mock draft, and obviously the Goat House controlled Atlanta, and it was definitely a fun one. I didn't always agree with the picks, so let's have some fun here. I'm gonna be respectful but critical and honest. So Goat House, hopefully you guys enjoy, and let's get into this. So starting off with the number 1 overall pick, we got Trevor Lawrence. We're not even going to talk about it at this point. He it's pretty much it's written in stone. Literally, Jaguars fans sent Trevor Lawrence like gifts for his wedding, and then he donated 20 grand to Jacksonville charities, which is awesome. That's really awesome. It's nice that Trevor actually did that. So good PR move, and I believe it's not just a PR move. I think he is actually a genuinely good person. And I mean, all these rumors about like, oh, I could just walk away. I mean, technically he can, but so can anybody. Honestly, Trevor Lawrence is just that damn good. So I love it. I love Trevor Lawrence, and he's going to be a great fit on the Jaguars. Next, we got Zach Wilson. Again, another thing written in stone. If the Eagles were not going to be trading up, if the Eagles did not trade up, that's because of the fact that they knew Zach Wilson was being taken at 2. So obviously, the rumors were, oh, if we believe Zach was at 3, we would have traded up, but instead we traded down. So I think it's pretty logical, to believe that Zach Wilson is going to be the number 2 pick, even if some people don't agree. I mean, obviously, I think it's the right move, but if they took Justin Fields out of like a miraculous circumstance, I think I'd be perfectly fine with it. Number 3, Mac Jones. Obviously, I believe the Go House is kind of like going with like what everybody's starting to believe. I 100% am against it. I personally know the head scout of the 49ers, and it's pretty obvious that you don't give away your entire future to continue what you're doing. You give your entire future for a future. Honestly, you could have traded for Kirk Cousins. You could have traded for Kirk Cousins with like half of that amount. Yeah, it's the rookie salary, blah blah blah. But I mean, there's a pocket passer every single year, and Mac Jones, even if you want to say he's a micro upgrade from Tua, which I don't believe so, then I mean, it's not going to put you over the top. It's really not going to put you over the top. And remember, Shanahan was talking in like the locker room after like Josh Allen just whooped his ass one of the games, and he was just like, "Damn, guys, we got beat by a different by the new NFL." And the new NFL is these quarterbacks who can do everything. And I'm not saying Mac Jones can't do anything. I'm just saying if you want to be put over the top, you get a guy who can put you over the top. And Shanahan's great with quarterbacks. So I believe that no matter what he does, and no matter who he chooses, they'll do well. Mac Jones, he'll do well. But if you know that you're going to develop a quarterback well, and also it's not for us to say who I like how Get Up said this. It's not for us to say who fits Shanahan's scheme. But I think that if you are going to be good with whatever quarterback you draft the one with the highest ceiling, whether it's Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Everybody knows it's not Mac Jones. So I'm pretty damn certain Mac Jones isn't number 3 pick, even though the word around the league is that. I mean, really? Come on, guys. Number 4, Patriots trade up for Trey Lance. I actually, when I'm going to be doing my final mock next week, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be putting probably this trade in here for Trey Lance. So spoiler alert, but I love it. I love the fit. Great overall. Big fan of it. Number 5, Bengals going Penei Sewell. Perfectly fine with it. I love it. I mean, obviously, I would honestly use him as as a guard year 1, just so you can have Reeve be the tackle. Of course, we have police cars going off in the background, but if you use Penei Sewell as an actual guard, that's going to be something that's going to be really beneficial to his development because he can learn from Reef while actually getting in-game experience. And that kind of solves 2 needs for this year in the future. So I'm a big fan of that. Next, we got Kyle Pitts. Honestly, I would not be mad if the Bengals actually took Kyle Pitts, but obviously if he's here for the Dolphins, you take him. These guys have to be 5 and 6. There's no way that either of these guys gets past this spot. Like whether Penei Sewell is taken here and Pitt's here, or a variation of it here, I think that it's 100% guaranteed that these guys are at this spot because these guys are generational. These guys can transform a franchise technically and basically make it into a winnable franchise. I mean, quarterback's the most important position. These guys are the ones who are special. So obviously, Trevor, Zach, special. And then depending on what you think about the other guys, you can say that as well. Next, we got Jamar Chase. Obviously, I think that this is a pretty much a locked move if Jamar Chase falls this far. The Lions desperately need wide receiver help, and hopefully Jamar stays a lot healthier than Kenny Golladay. And it'll be actually nice to have Jared Goff have somebody who can protect, who he could throw to. So that's a big plus. I like him. And then Tyrell Williams could honestly be a pretty damn good mentor. And I love that. I just love that idea. Next, Rashawn Slater. I like how he puts O lineman in there because I don't know. I still don't know if Rashawn Slater will be a tackle. Everybody's saying he's a guard. And it's not just because of the arm length. It's how you use your arm length. I honestly think from what I've seen, I don't know if Rashawn Slater uses arm length that well, and I'm going to have to do a bigger tape study on him. Obviously, I'm going to do that as draft night closes in because right now I'm trying to get reports done for the website. But, I looked at Eichenberg, and he has stub arms, right? He has really short arms. But A, he's been playing tackle for a while. But B, he uses his length like somebody with 34-inch arms. Like, he actually uses his full length. So if Rashawn Slater has longer arms but is still considered a guard, there might be concerns with how he uses his length. And that's the only thing that matters. It really is the only thing that matters. Obviously, you can project that he'll do better, but I don't know who the offensive line coach is for Carolina, but I'm not really sold that Rashawn Slater is going to be the future at left tackle. It's something that's been on my mind. It's like, I don't know if that's actually the right move right there. So obviously, this is the details of the trade. We got the 15th overall pick and then a next year first and this year second. I don't think that is going to be enough. I really don't. If we saw 3 firsts and then obviously there's the big ass trade from the 49ers. I'm not going to recite it verbatim for moving up 9 spots from 12 to 3. You're moving up a shit ton of spots here. Like we're moving up 11 spots. That's going to require a lot more because again, this is a mid first round pick, and then this is going to be a top 5 pick. So I think it's going to require even more. But the Patriots, again, they are in the mood for this. Like obviously, Bill Belichick never does this stuff, but Bill Belichick's never in the mood to go after free agents like that either. It's time to take advantage of the market. So he's going to see when all the teams are down, he's going to get his quarterback, and I love that trade. I love that trade. Obviously, if that trade were to happen, then that'd be great, right? But we're going to go on to the next picks. The Broncos getting Justin Fields. Honestly, I could shrink my camera. You guys don't want to see me, but I think you know where Justin Fields goes to school. I think that's a wonderful pick. I love it. I love it. I think that if somehow the draft board falls this way, I would even trade up with Carolina and just do a pick swap right there. I mean, that would just be a dream. If we're going to be honest, I love the idea of Justin Fields on the Broncos, but it's just not that realistic. Again, if the draft board falls this way, I think the next team that's going to be moving for somebody is the Broncos. And Justin Fields fits perfectly what they're looking for. He's somebody who could take them to a Super Bowl. So I love it. I love it. I just don't think it's going to be that realistic. Next, Patrick Surtain. Again, I'm praying he can play at the numbers he tested because he plays very slow compared to what he tested at. Same thing with Trevon Diggs. And if he can end up playing at that speed, holy crap, I love this. I mean, I would absolutely go ecstatic. I just know JC Horn actually plays at that speed. So that's the only thing that I'm like, let's watch out a little bit. But, I mean, they'll be in a cover 3 with Dan Quinn, a 4-3 cover 3 scheme. So I think that Patrick Surtain will be okay. It's not going to be primarily a man scheme similar to like what the Patriots run. So long as that happens, I'll be fine with it. Number 11, Jalen Waddle. I'm going to push back here. I mean, you still have, I know Elijah Vera Tucker. I'm not as high on Elijah Vera Tucker as the NFL is, but I know that the Giants literally just went out to get the wide receiver of their future with Kenny Golladay. They have Sterling Shepard. I kept saying Russell Shepard last time, as well as a plethora of other guys, including John Ross. And obviously, I'm not going to say that rules out Jalen Waddle. I love Jalen. He's my number 2 wide receiver in the class. But you have a gaping hole at guard, and you guys lost your number 1 offensive lineman, arguably. So that's a big ass hole to fill. And if the NFL loves AVT, and again, Technically, your right tackle spot is not filled. I love Matt Peart, so I'd be more biased to say that it is filled. But AVT can play both. I think that he would be an amazing guard, and I think this is a perfect fit for him. So I'm going to give some pushback on that. I think that you could either trade back and get AVT, or else just take AVT right there. I think it matters a little bit more than just a weapon. So next we got Devonta Smith going to the Eagles. You guys know me. I think that's a pretty damn good pick. Because if you have Fulgham, that's going to attract more of the heavy hitting safeties and stuff. Because Devontae, you're going to need somebody a little more quick because he's a little string bean, but he's really damn good with his movement skills. I'm just worried shitless about him, about his durability, because again, he played at 160 pounds, and that is scary as all hell. Yes, I do know that for a fact. So just really worrisome for me. But again, the talent is undeniable. If he's able to stay healthy, he's easily worth this pick. Number 13, Darsaw. Love it. Love that pick. 14, we got AVT to the Vikings. I think that's a solid pick. Again, I don't know if you really want to target a guard with this pick. If you want to kick out Ezra Cleveland to tackle, then absolutely. But I mean, honestly, I honestly see a tackle or like a trade back and a tackle or taking Kwity Paye right here. Those are just the only two options in my eyes. You can use Ezra as your guard still because I believe he played better at guard than tackle, and he's a really solid offensive lineman. Then you could your team would be pretty good that if you guys did that. It depends on what you do in the next rounds. Obviously, guard depth is actually pretty good in this class. So I don't know if you really need to go guard. The Giants is like that's your one hole. You plug that hole. There's a lot of holes on the Vikings, and you're pretty much the bottom of your division at this point, contending with the Lions for that. So I think that getting your pass rush with potentially Danielle Hunter sitting out and not too many 4-3 defensive ends in this class is kind of paramount. 15, JC Horn. So you trade back, you get an extra first, and you still fix your big ass corner problem. I like it. I like it a lot. I could even see Azeez Ojulari at that point, just because I know they're running the Dan Pease system, so you get your Harold Landry right there. I'd be fine with it. I know you have Aluakon, so I don't know if you exactly need to get a pass rushing outside linebacker, but if I'm not mistaken, the Dan Quinn 4-3 is a little bit. I mean, if Aluakon was the actual outside linebacker in that, he's probably not going to be a pass rusher in a 3-4. So that's something that you Falcons fans, need to coach me up on. We're not actually going to watch the video, but I did watch it beforehand. But next, we got Christian Barmore out of Bama. I don't agree with this at all. I mean, like, you still need a corner. You got Malcolm Butler there as your number one. And then I believe you have like Robert. I don't even know if they even have Robert Alford anymore as their actual number two. And then obviously you got Byron Murphy, who's a stud in the slot. This is a spot where either again you trade back and you get a guy like Greg Newsome, or you just take Greg Newsome with Caleb Farley right there. Like, I just think that you really do need a cornerback impact, and you could do it in the later rounds, but I think with the team actually being poised for a playoff / Super Bowl run, they were my pick last year before Tampa Bay got Leonard Fournette. You know, you kind of just want to solidify that one spot. And again, corners are very, very impactful in the league. You know, if you are able to lock down on the outside in a very pass-heavy league, that's a huge plus. So obviously they got they're pretty much in win now mode. I don't think you go Christian Barmore. They got a couple rookie interior defensive linemen from last year that could probably develop, or you can get another one. I think that corner is probably the right move right there. So a bit of pushback right there. I believe we're seeing a trade up right here. I believe we might have just missed some picks. We did. Next, we got Tevin Jenkins. I absolutely love that. 100% love that. Tevin Jenkins is going to fill that right tackle spot that Brown left, and that's going to be wonderful. I love it. I love that pick so much. He's also really good with immobile quarterbacks, and if he's able to stay with an immobile quarterback, he's easily worth a top 15 pick. Again, I just don't believe his movement skills are worthy for having him as a tackle with a mobile offense. But this on the Raiders, yeah, he also screams Raiders. Like, he feels like the tackle version of a Richie Incognito, hopefully minus the personality problems. Number 18, Micah Parsons. I mean, if he falls this far, which again, with the personality issues, it is a legit potential right here. This is a stud pick. I absolutely love it. If you're able to put Micah Parsons with the Miami Dolphins, I mean, I love it. Brian Flores is going to be able to coach him up. And Brian Flores is a coach that you want to play well for. So that's not something that you're not just trying to play football to play football. You're trying to play football for Brian Flores, and that's I mean, I absolutely love that. 19, JOK. Yes. Yes. I love this. I love this a lot. So, finally, I mean, I'm gaining more respect for the Go House as we're going along with this draft. Like, the only thing I've really had a big problem with is that Mac Jones thing, which again, half of the world believes Mac Jones is going to be selected. So, JOK, that's wonderful. They need a linebacker, they need a slot corner, they potentially need a single high safety. He fits all those roles if you really need him to. You can also like replace Landon Collins if you really want him to, as like more of that box safety type. I mean, he has enough size. He weighed in at over 220 pounds, so that's really a big plus for him. I think that you'd fit really well with Ron Rivera in this defense. Next, Kadarius Toney. Just as I'm like being all happy, here we go. I just don't really understand why we're getting Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney's a weapon, but the kid from Tulane that, of course, I blank on. I know his name as I'm about to say it, and then I blank on him as soon as I start talking. The kid from Tulane's pretty much exactly what you kind of want with Kadarius Toney, the real like deep threat gadget weapon. With the ball in his hands, he's going to be lethal. Anthony Miller could be gone, but I don't think Kadarius Toney's an Anthony Miller. And then if you want him to be a number one wide receiver, then AR-12 and Kadarius Toney are just not even close to the same. So, I mean, if you want to talk about guys who could be at the spot, if you want to go Rashad Bateman right here and be like, well, you have AR-12 and then you have Andy Dalton, who's had AJ Green, then you can give them that bigger target. I mean, he's not that tall. He's not like 6'3", but he plays a lot larger than a Kadarius Toney. He plays just like a true number one. Kadarius Toney's he could be the best wide receiver on a team. He'll never be the number one. So it's a weird way of describing that. He's very slippery. I love Kadarius Toney. He's a top 25 player on my board, but he definitely doesn't fit what the Bears are looking for. Not even close. So that's a pick I really don't like. This one, trading up for Jalen Phillips. I have him as a top 13 talent in the class, 100%. And you guys already know my concussion rant, so I'm not going to go into it. But this is a team that could win now. So we'll check actually out to see what this trade costed. So it costed a third round pick and a next year third, which I honestly think that these trades are a little bit undervalued. If you're moving up 9 spots, I don't know that's possible. That's possible. But you're not giving up too much value for a team that this is pretty much an early second, and then this could potentially be like pretty much almost a fourth, and same thing right here. I mean, this is kind of like a fourth, and this could be almost like a fourth right there as well. So, if we're gonna be honest, I absolutely love this trade because again, Jalen Phillips, I think he'll last 3, maybe 4 years in the NFL. I'm praying that he only does so he could actually live a happy life after and not be like Brett Favre for getting this. His daughter has soccer practice and stuff. It's really sad to see people go into mental decline because of CTE. So praying that Jalen Phillips has a short but very sweet career with the Bills, who will then soon be cap struck by Josh Allen's new contract that he'll be getting. So this is a perfect trade, perfect pick. This is one of the few teams that I could really see Jalen Phillips going to because he can play a 4-3 defensive end. Big fan of it. Hopefully they do address a defensive tackle later in the draft, maybe the next round, because the defensive tackle class, not too bueno, in my opinion. Next, Rashad Bateman. I absolutely love this. 100% love this. It's a perfect replacement for Corey Davis, and he and A.J. Brown are going to be lethal, especially even after the catch. They're going to be pretty lethal. I love the separation Rashad Bateman gets at the top of the route, and he's going to be a perfect addition to the squad. I love it. Jets getting Azeez Ojulari. I do not understand this one. The Jets are going to be running a wide 9, so this would be perfect for a guy like Jason Owe. I know my Jets fans have been coaching me up on this, and as well as the Niners fans who know this. Azeez Ojulari doesn't fit what they're looking for. He's a 3-4 outside linebacker. He's not going to be an edge in a wide 9. So I'm kind of heavily against this pick. There's still, you can take Caleb Farley here. It's something that you could bust out on a pick and him be injured, but people won't ever say like, dude, that was a shitty pick. He's a potential amazing talent. He's the number 1 corner talent wise if he's able to stay healthy. So if the Jets are able to get him at 23, why not? Right? If we're not worried about Jalen Phillips having to medically retire, I think that we should kind of cast aside the issues with Caleb Farley. But obviously that's arrogant. That's stupid. I just think that getting a corner here would be a really good option. If you want to get a Jason Owe there for the upside, I could see it as well. I just don't believe that you get a 3-4 outside linebacker for a wide 9. So just me. 24, Kwity Paye to the Steelers. I don't know about that one. I really don't. I really don't know about that one. Um, I mean, he doesn't really fit what the Steelers are looking for unless you want to replace Cam Hayward with him as like our 3-4 defensive end. Don't really think that's the issue. If you honestly switched Kwity Paye and Azeez Ojulari there, honestly, actually, I totally forgot Kwity Paye was on the board. I love Kwity Paye, so I would have put him right here. But um, if you switch Azeez and Kwity, then maybe because Azeez could be like your Bud Dupree replacement, which obviously we have Alex Highsmith there, but people don't believe in him, which I don't really understand that. He's young, he's raw. I don't think that we should cast him off. He actually had some really good highlights. The Steelers need a tackle, which the one that fits their scheme off the board. But that's a perfect spot to trade down. If Kwity is on the board, there are some teams like Tampa Bay that should be moving up for a Kwity Paye, which, if I'm not mistaken, Tampa Bay did move up for Jason Owe at the 25th pick. So that would have been a perfect spot for the Steelers to trade down and then potentially get Najee Harris at the back because, again, the only other team I could really see taking Najee Harris is the Bills, and they're off the board. So why not trade back to the end of one and do that? I just think that's a little bit of an oversight because, again, it's not what the Steelers would do. They're not getting another edge rusher, especially one to replace Cam Hayward when Cam Hayward's still there. I don't think you will need to kick out the good guys in the building when you're making a Super Bowl run. So you need to fill up those holes. So Jason Owe is the next pick. Tampa Bay trading up. We'll see what the trade details of all of these are soon. But I like it really high. This is a team that can really take a guy like Jason Owe, sit him behind JPP, and then have him grow and develop. That's a wonderful spot because then, like, what, 1 year, 2 years, you put him in, and then he's fully developed, and holy shit, right? It's perfect upside pick for the Buccaneers that just go best player available. I'm 100% fine with that. Browns getting Zaven Collins. I love it. I'm just a little bit worried about him trying to track down Lamar Jackson. So that's the only reason why I would go with Jamin Davis there. But Caleb Farley's on the board, and I know they really like Caleb Farley. So if I were the Browns, I'd take Caleb Farley. Personally, I would rather get a linebacker, but if I was thinking what the Browns would do legitimately, I'd go Caleb Farley just because, again, if he does stay healthy, which, again, he had a minute back surgery. It's not going to keep him out, I don't believe, for the entire year. Then he's going to be pretty damn impactful on the squad. I mean, imagine like Greedy Williams, Caleb Farley, Troy Hill, as well as Denzel Ward there, and then John Johnson and Ronnie Harrison Jr. in that backfield. It's going to be a nasty motherfucking secondary. And that's exactly what you need when you have teams like Pittsburgh who don't apparently right now do not have a run game, do not have really anything except a pass game. But of course, David Collins is going to be really good in the run. I'm just worried about his athleticism against Lamar Jackson, but I mean, that's technically you're forfeiting 2 games a year, and that's not a really bad thing because you have Anthony Walker, who's pretty fast there. 27, this one I absolutely despise. I love Elijah Moore's talent. I have him as a top 30 player in this class, but you're just getting another version of the same dudes. I mean, Elijah Moore, he's amazing, but Lamar needs somebody who can have a big ass catch radius because he's very inaccurate when it comes to ball placement. This is where Terrace Marshall's perfect. You can put him on the edge and you can use him as a Sammy Watkins type. I always say this. I harp on this. I think it's going to be the legit pick in the draft. If you want to give Lamar weapons, give him big ass targets. For some reason, he's very accurate when throwing at his big ass targets, but very inaccurate at his smaller ones. It's just Hollywood Brown should be so much better. Devin Duvernay is so much better. Elijah Moore is just, he's another one. It's a copy and paste. I just don't like that one. Next, Alex Leatherwood. Ooh, the Jets traded back up for this. I absolutely despise Alex Leatherwood. After studying Mac Jones, I realized Alex Leatherwood was the biggest disappointment on that line. Again, I believe he's kicking him into guard here because he said O-line. But, I mean, I really can't see a team trading up for this. He has size, 100%, and he has some athleticism to him, but putting him in the first, I mean, he was the weakest link on that Alabama offensive line. If we're going to be 100% open and honest here, he was the weakest link. So I don't think that's worth a first-round pick. To me, he's worth a third. Maybe if you use him as a guard, a second. I just can't believe he'd ever be worth a first-round pick. Again, they're using him as a guard, but you don't trade up for a guard that hasn't played guard in a little bit. So 29, Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech. Wouldn't this be a dream, huh, Packers fans? But I think you guys want a day one impact. That's my only concern. You guys don't really have too much flexibility there. So, I mean, I know you brought back, I believe, Kevin King on a 1-year deal, but shoot, I don't know. I mean, I love the talent. I can't deny it. But is it really the best move for your team if you want to actually win? I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to like that pick. I'm going to be honest. And your entire team is going to be basically based around Aaron Rodgers. So as much as it sounds weird to say, I think that you should kind of cater to Aaron Rodgers right here. Where I would go with it, I would look at a Samuel Cosme because again, your right tackle spot is barren. We already saw what happens when you lose Bakhtiari. So I would honestly take a tackle at that spot. But there's also you could technically take a linebacker there. Jamin Davis is there. Really fast, great coverage, very explosive. Somebody who could be a captain of the defense. That's something I think that Aaron Rodgers will at least understand because it'll be a day one impact. And then, I mean, you could actually go after a wide receiver right there, like a Terrace Marshall. I know my boy Mason's going to hate that, but you should be doing something to benefit the offense, or else getting a stud on defense that will be able to impact day one. Trying to explain it because I'd honestly be fine with Farley. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to like it, so I don't think it's going to be realistic. 30, Gregory Rousseau. Trading back for Rousseau, I'm happy at least they didn't select him in the first, but left tackle is such a big need. Signing Sam Tevi is just it's not enough, man. I know the defensive ends for the Colts are absolutely brutal, but this is something that you just take a shot on later on, dude. I'm gonna be honest. There's still guys out there that could be probably signed. I mean, you could get some more edge rotation with some veterans, but it's like I think that you need to get that left tackle spot. If you want Carson Wentz to succeed, we already talked about how he's always under pressure. If you have an entire offensive line that's great, then you have Sam Tevi on the outside. I mean, what does that say about your offense? I mean, that's just going to cripple everything. So definitely, I think that you get a Samuel Cosme there. You get a Liam Eichenberg there. You get somebody who could be a competent tackle there. Dylan Raduns. Like, any of those guys could be great right there. Unless you want to trade up for one of them in the second, which then it's like, okay, cool. But I think you could just flop that, get a tackle here, and trade up for Rousseau. I don't know. Number 31, Greg Newsome to the Chiefs. I think the one thing they really need right now is a linebacker, and Jimmy Davis is there. You rock a linebacker. You rock a tackle if you want to as well. I know that the offensive line coach for the Chiefs was at the Florida Pro Day. I think he was talking to Stone Forsythe, and I think that's a pretty good move. He's a day one ready tackle, and I still have him as like an early to mid third, which that's just based on his upside. Day one wise, he might be one of the best tackles in this draft. And then Travis Etienne trading up one spot. I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, you have now James Robinson and Etienne along with Trevor Lawrence. So I think that'd be pretty solid. I just don't know if Urban Meyer really is in the mood for an Etienne. It doesn't seem like it's not a very Ohio State thing to do, especially when you can address offensive line. You can address a multitude of. Oh, you're not trading up. You traded back from 25. That's my bad. You need to address offensive line. All the offensive linemen are there. I don't really know what Go House's aversion to offensive line is exactly, but I just don't really vibe with it. So here we're gonna look at the trade with the Saints. You're putting a 6th round pick to move up. Oh, okay, no, they're getting a 6th round pick back. They're putting in a 3rd round. That's a fair trade value. I think that's fair. Again, I would just love to see what they did later on, which they did. Does he put a 2nd round in here? That'd be a dream. He does. Oh my God. Go House, you're the G. But next, we're going Trevon Merrick. Love it. Love that pick. I just wish they went an offensive line before. 34, Jamin Davis. I love that pick. Look at this. Going off. Love it. 35, Najee. Kiss goodbye to Mike Davis. That's all I got to say. That kind of hurts a lot. And then edge rusher still kind of a need. I don't know. Is Azeez Ojulari taken? I totally bugged out if Azeez was taken. But we'll find out in a little bit. Then Javonte Williams. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love it. 100% love it. 37, Eric Stokes. He's going to be great in the zone coverage scheme. I think he'll be a big thriver in this cover 2 scheme that is being brought in from Indianapolis. I love that pick. 38, De'Ami Brown. I think you could trade back for this, but honestly, I'm 100% of a big fan of this. I like it a lot. Asante Samuel Jr. Again, I think that that's an excellent pick, especially since you technically addressed the line with Rashawn Slater. So I know that they got AJ Boye, but that's a 1-year contract. Asante Samuel Jr. can at least grow, and man, he's going to be electric. I love it. Joe Tryon to the Broncos can develop for a year. Again, I'm actually being a pretty big fan of this 2nd round. I like it. Next, we got Levi Onwuzurike. I've heard some very good things about him, so I think that's going to be pretty solid. 42, Jalen Mayfield. We'll see how he goes as an offensive guard. So I like how you put that there. It puts a little bit more into perspective here. So I like that. Next, we got Ifeatu Melifonwu out of Syracuse. He's a zone corner, and I don't really know if he's going to fit that cover 3 scheme very well. He's more built for a cover 2, but he should be going around this spot. I think that this is a perfect spot for Tyson Campbell, who's the NFL is higher on him than Eric Stokes. Next, Elin Mcneil. I don't think that a nose tackle is going to be getting this type of hype. Elin Mcneil is pretty damn solid, but again, we saw interior defensive linemen fall in last year's draft, and the NFL executives don't like the interior defensive line of this class. So I think that's a little bit rich right there. Landon Dickerson to the Jags. That's interesting. I don't think you're gonna be getting rid of Brandon Linder anytime soon, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm a little bit concerned as to why you'd go center there. If you want to put him to guard, then okay. But I'm a little bit confused there. Gonna be honest. 46, Ronnie Perkins. So yeah, that fits. That fits. I'm just a little bit confused. I don't know if I just like totally missed. I'm actually gonna check right now. Did I miss Azeez Ojulari? Oh yeah, we did. Okay, that makes so much more sense. I was like, pause. Is Azeez still on the board? No, he was taking at 23. I knew that there was no way in hell that you would take Ronnie Perkins over Azeez Ojulari. But that's pretty much your next Azeez. I honestly, personally, would be going Joseph Asai there. I love Joseph Asai more than Perkins, but that's solid. I like it. 47, Terrace Marshall Jr. It's good to develop him. I just don't know if the Chargers are going to be rocking with that pick. They still have kind of like a mediocre hole at guard, which they can fill right there. They can even go an edge rusher if they want to get rid of or just get the future for what's it called, Uchenna Nwosu. So we're gonna go on to the next picks. Did I just totally mess up on one of these picks down here? Okay, yeah, we missed out on Javon Holland to the Raiders, and that's fine. I just think they need a single high safety, so I think he's gonna be using him as a slot corner. So we'll see about that. 49, Kelvin Joseph, after getting banned from LSU, just found out that about, by the way, and having huge personality problems. I don't even like his coverage. So he, to me, is a late third round pick at best. Don't like Kelvin Joseph whatsoever. Tyson Campbell's on the board. Go Tyson Campbell. Quinn Meinerz. I absolutely love that pick for the Dolphins. Really hard fighter. He's gonna be amazing. I love that. I actually really like that pick. 51, Samuel Cosme. I don't think he's gonna fall that far. Technically, it's best player available, but you need a single high safety, and I'd be rocking Jamar Johnson or Richie Grant any day. I like Jamar Johnson a little bit better personally. I think that's just a perfect spot for a single high. And the tackles are 29 and 30, and they're both playing at a very high level. So I just don't vibe with that. 52, Bears getting Kellen Mond. Very interesting. I don't think the Bears are ready for Kellen Mond. I just don't. Because I don't feel it. I don't feel that Kellen Mond is a Bear, especially with the way they've been signing free agents. Like, they could have kept Mitchell Trubisky for one more year if they wanted to develop a Kellen Mond. They just went straight pocket passer. Bold prediction, I think they might go Kyle Trask in the second. Like that, they're going for a pocket passer. So if you want to get Kyle Trask or Davis Mills, I think that's the kind of the way that they're going. But you never know. They could have just signed Andy Dalton to be a smokescreen for getting Kellen Mond. You never know. 53, Aaron Robinson to the Titans. I think they need to get a boundary corner. I don't believe that slot corner should be their primary issue. So again, with Tyson Campbell on the board, you rock a Tyson Campbell. I'm not a big fan of that. 54, Eichenberg going to the Colts. Obviously, that's a great pick now. Obviously, that is. But it's not going to happen. Offensive tackles are pretty damn solid in this draft class, and everybody realizes it. So, I mean, with that being such a huge need, I don't think they could have afforded to wait this long. Obviously, it worked out for them, but I don't really like it too much. Obviously, just by the way the board fell. Wonderful. 55, Bears. The Steelers getting Dylan Raduns. Love it. I absolutely love it. Again, if you're able to get Najee Harris in the first, then you get Dylan Raduns here. That's literally almost a perfect draft. So I'd be a big fan of that. Rondale Moore to the Seahawks. That's an interesting one. I don't really know what to think about it, if we're going to be honest. I'm a little bit stumped. I guess it fills their wide receiver 3 need because they don't really have a third wide receiver. So that could be actually a pretty good one. Honestly, I don't mind that. I think that they have some bigger needs on like the defensive side, but I mean, Rondale Moore is somebody where you should be willing to take a shot on him. So not too bad. They've addressed the offensive line quite a bit. So now you get Rondale Moore as well. 57, Nick Bolton. I'm surprised he fell this far. I'm going to be honest. For like teams that could probably use a linebacker, I'm surprised that some other team didn't try to trade up for him. But Nick Bolton to the Rams, I love that pick. That's wonderful. If he falls that far, I have him as a late first, early second. He definitely has some things to grow in, and I don't know if the Rams are the best situation for him to grow, but I mean, he's going to be better than the linebackers they have. So cheers to the Rams for doing that. Obviously, there are some other tackles that are probably on the board that could be taken, but I think that's the best player available. 58, Peyton Turner. Ooh, that's interesting. I could see him as a Raven. I just don't really vibe with the value. Again, I'd be going more of a guy like Brevin Jordan right there because, again, you did lose Hayden Hurst, and, you guys like to run some good tight end schemes. They lost Hayden Hurst and Darren Waller, who both are having really damn good careers elsewhere. So that's a little bit painful. 59, Milton Williams. I love that. I absolutely love it. Hopefully, he doesn't play nose tackle. We'll play a 3-tech. So that's a perfect fit for him. I love the potential of Milton Williams. So big fan of that. 60, Tyson Campbell. I love that pick as well. Yeah, Jamin Davis and Tyson Campbell. I'd be giving the Saints an A+ grade for this draft. 61, Jabril Cox. He's going to be probably playing an outside linebacker spot. I mean, he could be playing inside if they want to move Terrell outside, but fine with it. They don't really have a linebacker 3, and that's going to be perfectly fine. I like that pick a lot. 62, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're pairing up the St. Brown brothers, which might be kicking off Equanimous from the team, actually. But, that's you get Aaron Rodgers the weapon he needs. So that's fine. I like it. 63, Boogie Basham. Good. You need some pass rush in there, man. But again, linebacker, still vacant. If you went linebacker round 1 and this round 2, cool. Because, again, if you dress tackle round 3 with like a Stone Forsythe, if he actually falls that far, or Spencer Brown, then he'd be cooking a little bit more. And then 64, Davis Mills out of Stanford. Yeah, no, that's a good spot. He only played 11 games, and he has so much potential. You saw what happened in that Washington game. I love it. So I don't think that he did anything more besides this one. Obviously, we could check that out if he actually did do anything more, which he didn't. So that is the end of the video. Goat House, you actually did a lot better than I expected, given the fact that I definitely disagree with some of your picks in the celebrity YouTuber mock draft. So good job. A lot better than I expected. Some of the picks, again, I don't always agree with, like Aaron Robinson, Samuel Cosme, not vibing with the idea, Kelvin Joseph. But those are my personal opinions from my fans who teach me a lot of things, as well as my understanding of their rosters. But of course, I fuck up way more. So can I even complain? No. So good job to Goat House. Did a lot better than I expected. I'm giving him a nice A- on this draft. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the far side. Peace.